We live in a time when people are surrounded by expectations, pressure, comparison, and noise. Everywhere you look, someone is telling you how to live, how you should look, what you should have achieved by now, and what version of yourself would finally be good enough. It's no longer the world outside that weighs most heavily on the spirit. It's the quiet battle inside, the one where you question your worth in the middle of the night, or after a mistake, or when life feels like it's pushing you against a wall with no way forward. The silent ache of "I am not enough" has become one of the greatest burdens of our era. But beneath all the noise, beneath the filters, the pressure, the relentless competition for attention and success, there is a truth that never changed. Your worth was never supposed to be determined by anyone else. It was never meant to be calculated by society's shifting standards, nor by how many accomplishments you have gathered, nor by how many people approve of you. Your worth is an inner truth, a quiet strength, a deep presence, a sacred recognition that you are valuable simply because you exist. Simply because you carry a mind capable of reason, a heart capable of courage, and a spirit capable of rising. The ancient thinkers understood this long before the world became noisy. They taught that your value must be rooted in something deeper than opinions or achievements. It must come from the integrity of your character, the discipline of your actions, and the way you honor yourself through difficulty. And in a time where many feel lost, pressured, or unseen, their wisdom has become more relevant than ever. Below are the four expanded foundations of building profound, unshakable self-esteem, written with emotional realism, philosophical depth, and the full weight of modern life. 1. Know your worth without measuring yourself against the world. The modern world trains people to compare themselves constantly. You see others succeed and wonder why you haven't reached the same point. You see someone living comfortably, someone in perfect shape, someone with a beautiful relationship, and a quiet shame forms inside you. You begin to think that your life is less valuable because it doesn't look like theirs. What you don't see is the truth behind the scenes, the struggles that are hidden, the pain that is not shared, the battles others fight when no one is watching. Comparison blinds you to the full reality. It takes your focus away from your path and makes you resent your own life. Comparison has a subtle poison. It kills your gratitude. It kills your peace. It makes your accomplishments feel small and your progress feel slow. You begin to believe you are behind when what you really need is patience. You begin to feel inferior when what you really need is clarity. You begin to question yourself when what you really need is to understand that everyone has a different calling, a different timing, a different journey. When you live your life looking sideways, you never look forward. The Stoics warn that the desire to be like others is a form of self-ignorance. It means you don't truly see your own value. To know your worth, you must stop reducing yourself to surface-level comparisons. Your value is not measured by how fast you succeed, how much you earn, how many admire you, or how perfect you appear. Your value lives in your resilience, in the battles you survived that others didn't see. Your value lives in your heart, in how deeply you care, how honestly you love, how faithfully you show up. Your value lives in your character, in the way you rise after failure, the way you heal after heartbreak, the way you keep going even when life weighs heavily on your shoulders. Your worth is not something the world gives you. It's something you reclaim every time you refuse to let comparison define you. And as you detach yourself from comparison, something beautiful happens. You begin to see your strengths clearly. You begin to appreciate your journey. You begin to trust your timing. You begin to understand that your life is not a race. It is a path uniquely shaped for the person you were meant to become. When you stop measuring yourself against others, you give yourself permission to grow, to evolve, and to walk your own direction with dignity. That freedom is the beginning of true self-esteem. 2. Build inner power through integrity, discipline, and alignment with your truth. Most people struggle with self-esteem because their life does not match their inner values. They say they want discipline, but their habits betray them. They say they want peace, but they remain in chaos. They say they want success, but they avoid the work. This internal conflict creates guilt, shame, and self-doubt. You don't feel good about yourself when you consistently let yourself down, even if no one else sees it. The secret truth is this: self-esteem is not about how others see you. Self-esteem is about how you see yourself when no one is watching. Integrity is the first pillar of inner power. When your actions and your values align, you feel whole. You feel strong. You feel grounded. You gain respect for yourself. You stop fighting the internal war between who you are and who you know you should be. Every time you choose honesty, courage, responsibility, or discipline, you reinforce the truth that you are becoming someone you can trust. This trust is the seed from which confidence grows. Discipline is the second pillar. In a world where comfort is always within reach, discipline becomes a rare form of self-love. It means doing what you know is right, not what feels easy. It means waking up early to pursue your goals, staying consistent even when motivation fades, and sacrificing short-term comfort for long-term strength. Discipline is not punishment. It is self-respect in action. It tells your mind, I am capable of greatness. It tells your heart, I am worthy of effort. It tells your future, I am preparing for you. Alignment with your personal truth is the third pillar. Many people lose themselves because they live according to what others expect rather than what their soul desires. They chase careers that impress but do not fulfill. They stay in relationships that drain them because they fear being alone. They silence their voice to avoid judgment. But the cost of this self-betrayal is high. When you abandon your truth, you abandon your self-esteem. Living authentically requires courage, the courage to disappoint others before you disappoint yourself. But when you honor your truth, your entire spirit rises. Your self-respect deepens. Your identity strengthens. You stop being shaped by the world and begin shaping your own life. And as integrity, discipline, and authenticity merge, you begin to transform. You stand taller. You speak with more confidence. You handle difficulty with greater calm. Your mind becomes clearer, your choices become wiser, and your path becomes stronger. This is how inner power is built, not through image, but through character. 3. Protect your energy. Leave what breaks you and stay where you are valued. Energy is not infinite. Your spirit is not invincible. When you remain in environments that drain you, toxic workplaces, unbalanced relationships, communities that limit your growth, your self-esteem begins to wither. Modern life is filled with emotional pressure, comparison, expectation, social conflict, financial stress, broken trust, and constant uncertainty. In environments that lack support, these pressures multiply. You begin to internalize negativity. You start believing that you are the problem, even when you are simply in the wrong place. The truth is this: you cannot heal in the same space that wounded you. You cannot grow in a place that does not value growth. You cannot become your best self in an environment that benefits from keeping you small. Walking away feels difficult because the world often glorifies staying, enduring, sacrificing, holding on. But leaving harmful spaces is not weakness. It is wisdom. It is an act of self-protection. It is a commitment to your own well-being. It is the recognition that your spirit deserves a place where it can breathe, where it can rise, where it can thrive. The Stoics taught that a person's environment shapes their character. If your environment is dark, heavy, or destructive, your spirit will begin to reflect that darkness. The moment you step away from what breaks you, you step toward what can rebuild you. Distance brings clarity. Solitude brings healing. Supportive people bring strength. Healthy environments bring opportunity. When you surround yourself with people who respect your boundaries, who encourage your progress, who celebrate your growth instead of fearing it, your entire energy changes. You begin to blossom. You rediscover your confidence. You remember your worth. Protecting your energy is not selfish. It is essential for survival in this era of emotional overwhelm. It is how you reclaim your power. It is how you honor your future. It is how you rebuild your self-esteem from the ground up. 4. Rewrite your inner voice. Speak to yourself. Like someone, you are responsible for your inner voice is the most powerful force in your life. It shapes your confidence, your courage, your choices, and your destiny. Yet most people speak to themselves with harshness they would never use on another human being. They insult themselves after small mistakes. They call themselves failures after setbacks. They judge themselves more harshly than anyone else. This internal cruelty becomes a silent enemy, one that destroys self-esteem from within. Modern life has amplified this inner self-attack. With constant comparison, unrealistic standards, and pressure to perform, many carry an internal critic that never rests. They replay their failures, shame themselves for their past, and expect perfection from a human heart still learning how to heal. But Stoic wisdom reminds us that our thoughts shape the quality of our soul. If your thoughts are merciless, your spirit will become fragile. If your inner voice is cruel, your identity will become wounded. To rebuild self-esteem, you must change the way you speak to yourself, not with empty affirmations, but with grounded truth, compassion, and strength. You must acknowledge your effort. You must forgive your past. You must validate your emotions without being ruled by them. You must remind yourself that mistakes do not define you. They refine you. You must become the inner guide that leads you back to clarity, resilience, and hope. When your inner voice becomes kinder, your actions become bolder. When your inner voice becomes wiser, your decisions become clearer. When your inner voice becomes respectful, your whole sense of worth transforms. You begin to feel capable. You begin to feel deserving. You begin to feel powerful in your own skin. This inner transformation is the heartbeat of true self-esteem. Not loud, not dramatic, but deeply life-changing. Self-esteem is not a gift. It is not a stroke of luck. It is not something you wake up with one morning. Self-esteem is built slowly, intentionally, courageously, through the choices you make every day. It grows when you stop comparing yourself to the world. It grows when your actions align with your values. It grows when you walk away from what weakens you. It grows when your inner voice becomes your ally. If you want to rebuild your confidence, your identity, and your sense of worth, start today. Not by trying to become perfect, but by trying to become honest, disciplined, compassionate, and strong in the ways that matter. Start small. Start steady. Start with the belief that you deserve a life built on respect, especially your own. Choose yourself. Choose your potential. Choose your peace. Choose your strength. Choose your voice. Choose your worth. Again and again. Subscribe to Stoic Thrive. Strengthen your mind. Deepen your spirit. Rise with purpose, discipline, clarity, and courage every day.